welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you doing? I hope that the month of September was kind on you, and we are on a new month. Happy new month, October. How are you? So thank God that we are here in the month of October, and as usual, it's Friday. It's time for a new video. If you're new here, my name is Doreen Mura, an amazing host to a tiny guest called HIV, and every week I make these amazing, educative, inspirational, nice, and interesting videos about factors or matters or things affecting people living with HIV. And for that reason, I am asking you to subscribe, hit on that red button, click subscribe, and turn on your notification bell. We are now growing very fast. I can see how we are growing, and I want us to continue like that. So let us continue growing. And it is a journey to 10,000 subscribers, guys. So thank you so much for everybody who's been here supporting me. I appreciate the love, okay? Let us dive straight into today's video. So today's video is about cervical cancer and living with HIV, basically. And in the year 2010, my mom got misdiagnosed with both kidney failure and cervical cancer, and she was so afraid, and she was saying, I am going to die. And the fact that she's also living with HIV was a factor that she was very worried about. So I have always wanted to do a cervical cancer test, the pap smear, but every time I hear the experiences, because my mom has undergone like 3 pap smears, and every time she just describes the feeling, and it just does not feel like something I am ready to do. So there is this really nice clinic that I got. I will not tell you where, because if I do, then I will be breaching a lot of contracts. But I got this really nice clinic, and I went there. And late last month, I did a test. If you follow me on social media, you saw the post that I made. It was actually something that was very easy, very fast, instant results, and I loved it. I did not really love it, but I loved the experience, not the test itself. The test itself is not painful. It doesn't take too much time, and it's just basically a normal test. It's a little bit uncomfortable though, but yeah, you get through it, because it's something that I think within 10 minutes it was done. Everything was done, and it was like, I'm there like, hey, so doctor, when am I getting my results? And she's like, hiya, you okay? Just go home and let's see you again next year, time like this. I should mark that day on the calendar so that I remember next year, because probably next year I will not remember. But I did my cervical cancer test, the pap smear, and it went well. And then I realized that I needed to do a video about it. I am sorry I was not able to record the whole experience, but I am here to tell you a little bit about cervical cancer among women who are cisgender women living with HIV, and why it is important for them to take the test, and even for every other woman who is not living with HIV but should take this test. Why am I saying this? It's a more women who are living with HIV are more likely to get cervical cancer than their other peers who are not living with HIV. So why is it important, or what makes it what makes the risk for cervical cancer increase among women who are living with HIV? This is because women living with HIV may likely become infected with the HPV virus. The HPV virus is a suspect to causing cervical cancer, and for that reason, if it's left untreated, it progresses very fast to invasive cancer. So women living with HIV are 4 to 5 times more likely to develop invasive cervical cancer. So that is why it is very important, especially for women living with HIV. I know this is a women issue, and cisgender women I have to be very specific. Cisgender women when I say cisgender women, I mean women who have not transformed, because now we know we have women who are trans women. So no, I mean cisgender women. And why there is a risk or an increase in women living with HIV developing cervical cancer is because females who are living with HIV are more likely to have abnormal pap smears than negative women. Those abnormal pap smears are usually associated with low CD4 cell counts and human papilloma virus infection, which is the HPV infection. You can, even as women living with HIV, most of them who I have seen develop some conditions such as the genital warts. Those warts come because there is the presence of the HPV virus in your blood. And why is it like that? It's like that because your immune system is already compromised. So you have an immunity that is already compromised. So that is why you need to be very careful, extremely careful with your health, especially when it comes to things such as the screening of cervical cancer. All women who have ever been sexually active are at risk of developing cervical cancer. This is because sexual activity potentially exposes you to HPV. Why do I say this? Because it is said, scientists say, not me, scientists say that the HPV virus is highly carried by men. Like, men are carriers of the HPV virus. So when you have more than one sexual partner who is a man, you never know what virus they are carrying with them. That is why it is always very important that before you start asking each other questions such that, babe, do you trust me? No. Ensure that you know that this person's health status is a very clean slate, because most people have more than one sexual partners, and that is how sexually transmitted infections end up passing from one partner to another, because most sexually transmitted infections get into the body and just stay dormant. So they just keep eating you slowly and slowly and slowly without you noticing that actually you're suffering from something, especially for men. For women, you can usually see the symptoms, but for men take a lot of time before they notice that actually there is something wrong with their system. So that is why I'm telling you, if you are a person with more than one sexual partner, if you're a person who is sexually active and probably you're having unprotected sex, remember that you apart from HIV, you're also at risk of getting HPV, which if left untreated progresses to cervical cancer. Women should oftenly take the cervical cancer test or the pap smear test or the screening, because I usually see a lot, especially in the month of October, that is the Cancer Awareness Month. I see a lot of free cancer testing services. Please, women, ensure that you have your breasts checked for breast cancer. Ensure that you have your cervix checked, because these are things that actually affect us, both women who are not living with HIV and women who are living with HIV. The only reason why I'm insisting on women living with HIV is because they are more at risk of getting these other non-communicable diseases than the other women who are not living with HIV. So all women should begin cervical cancer screening at the age of 21. Women between the ages of 21 and 29 should have a pap smear test after every 1 year. They should not be tested for HPV unless it is needed after an abnormal pap test. Like, after, the only way you're supposed to be tested for HPV is when the test shows that you have some abnormality. Okay. Some of the risk factors of cervical cancer. You can possibly some of the things that actually expose you to now cervical cancer. We have issues such as the HPV, the human papilloma virus infection. We have your sexual history, having more than one sexual partner, smoking, having a weakened immune system, people living with HIV, having a chlamydia infection, long-term use of oral contraceptive, that is birth control pills. I did not know that. having multiple full-term pregnancies, and young age at first full-time pregnancy. So the main cause of cervical cancer, as we have talked about, I have talked about HPV. So the main cause of cervical cancer is actually the human papillomavirus, and it causes abnormalities that develop in your body. That virus itself, it's a lethal virus, but the sad part is it's carried by men and they're not affected with it in any way at all. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, you cannot sorry, I got lost for a minute. You cannot skip not getting screened for cervical cancer. You need to do it as often as possible. And especially with us who have a weakened immune system, it's something that we need to actually normalize. I finally got the courage to go and get tested on my own. So it's time that you also get that courage and go and get tested. Especially this month, there are lots and lots of our cancer awareness campaigns. There is literally a time I was passing through a market and I saw the Family Health Organization of Kenya. They have a clinic, and then I saw like they have a tent and it was all set up and they were telling people come and get tested. And nowadays the results come instantly. When I posted it on Facebook, I saw some complaints saying, oh, when the last time I went there, this person, I was told to go back after 3 weeks. I was good, but no. In most places, it's supposed to be an instant test. Okay, it is no longer the 3 weeks, 5 weeks wait. So get that courage this month, go out there and get tested. And I am encouraging women living with HIV like me, they're more, because we are more susceptible. Why does that word always refuse to come out? We are more at risk or at a higher risk of getting the cervix of being exposed to cervical cancer than anybody else. Okay, so thank you so much for everybody who has watched this video till this particular moment. God continue blessing you with bundles. Okay, and don't forget to watch, share and subscribe. Thank you so much, people. Bye bye, see you next week. And next week I am definitely bringing back story time series, so see you on Tuesday.